the thing about culture is that we breathe it in, and we don't even realize that we're influenced, and that's problematic right there. But our current modern middle class culture, which is pretty much the same all across the globe, unfortunately, is not conducive to growing an intimate relationship. Just look, what are the values that are out there? What is privacy, independence, consumerism, frantic activity, okay? If your goal is to build a deep, intimate, loving relationship, independence, privacy, not so helpful. Frantic activity, okay? And this is why it's an advantage to get married in the church. Not because church people are any better. I wish we were, but we're not, all right? It's more that we're surrounded by a little bit more helpful values. If you go to church even once a week, you're going to hear values like compassion, forgiveness, belonging, faithfulness. Very helpful, okay? So this is not rocket science, all right? So just, the air we're breathing is not really sending us to one another, but then there are specific attitudes that, again, we just accept them without questioning. We adopt them without realizing we've adopted them. But what they tend to do is lower the priority of being in love in marriage, or even lower the whole priority of marriage and relationship. But in both cases, it's a real negative impact. Probably one of the most serious ones would be just in our culture. We're taught that sex is something we do. It's an activity, right? And you can do it more or less well, and it becomes sexually, everywhere. It's a performance, and we get books on how-tos and all of that sort of stuff. And it leads us away from one another. We become self-conscious instead of other-conscious, and loneliness creeps in. If it's something you do, you can feel done to, and you can feel used, and it causes a lot of pain in marriage, when in reality, it's not something we're doing to each other, it's something we're saying to each other. But the culture has us so convinced. And if it's something you can do, you can practice at it with lots of people, right? And get better at it. And it turns out that is not helpful either. But it really is something you're saying, and it's not more special if you've said it to 50 people. Right?
What happens there is the relationship dimension is lost in the process. If we talk about activities are actually just tend to be self-centered, we're self-conscious, we're self-aware, how am I doing? Did I do this well? Any activity can be addressed that same way. And it becomes impersonal, and the relationship dimension is lost. The relationship dimension is also lost when we think, and this is a cultural thing also, that we can find out who we are as men and women by looking at cultural standards for what it means to be male and female, or be perhaps it's being a fit person or an athlete, and these are getting blurred between men and women. We used to think of men as athletic and women as homemakers and things like that. But now women are taking on more athletic roles and so forth. And women today suffer from the stereotype, the female superwoman kind of stereotype, that women should be able to do everything well. Everything a man can do, everything a woman can do. Incredible pressures are being placed on our women today.
Syndrome is huge in the United States, okay? And so you are going to get up in the morning at 5 a.m., you're going to go work out at the gym, then you're going to go in the office and beat out all the men for a promotion, and work all day long, and then come home and have this, pick up the kids and do the schoolwork, and then do, dinner, and what happens is your husband is one more thing on the list, right before call pest control. And so it really does lower that priority, but also there's nothing left.
It's interesting that when we feel insecure in our relationship, we're really feeling insecure in our masculinity or femininity. And what do? Where do we look for it? Externally. We tend to go externally. We tend to throw ourselves into the job or work or trying to get ahead.
I clean. I don't feel beautiful, and therefore everything around me must be beautiful, right? or I'm cook, nest big bowls, big pots of soup and things like that, and it's so silly because Ronnie's the one person who can make me feel most like a woman, and I don't go there to relationship. But that's an influence from the culture, right? The other thing is this whole attitude of independence, right? That is really ingrained in us from the time we're little, and we mistake that. We think that we're afraid of being in an intimate relationship because we're afraid of losing our independence and getting swallowed up somehow in there. And that's sacrosanct because that's the most important value, especially for we Americans. We're very independent, but what we've done is we have mistaken the notion of independence for autonomy. Autonomy means I am a capable adult that can stand on her own 2 feet and take care of my own needs. Okay, I'm competent, I'm capable, and I'm autonomous, right? That's not the same as independence. Independence in a relationship says, I don't need you. Okay, and that is really hurtful, especially when someone wants to be needed, right?